All of us are culpable. Some senators here, so-called senior senators, got 500 million each. I am a ranking senator, I didn't get. Did I go to the press?
I didn't get.
Most of you got. And yes, if we want to go into those issues, excuse me, if we want to go into those issues, yes. So I think that Senator Ningi,
perusing through the budget, first, we discover humongous anomalies of repetition. We discovered some senatorial districts in this particular document. Some senatorial districts have up to 120 billion. And my senatorial district has just 2 billion. Mr. President, yes. Mr. President, in this budget, that Yari presented to you, I want to do it now and here. And I have the documents. To back any claim. I want to be given the opportunity to defend myself.
You are not recognized. Sit down, you are not recognized.
Here.
Mr. President, I haven't finished. I also have a point of order raised by Senate leader.
Distinguished Senator Alero, we give you respect, not just as a ranking senator, but as an elder statesman. So if you stopped talking while you have the floor, and then you allow Senator Ningi to jump up and start shouting, that's not the behavior of the Senate. This is not a Rise Television or BBC Hausa service. So I would like a situation where you speak. If Senator Ningi wants to say something, I will grant him the opportunity. And he will say something, but we must conduct ourselves with decorum and respect for one another, and particularly respect for this institution. So if you are through, and any other person wants to talk, the person should raise his hand, I will recognize you.
I'm not finished, I have the floor. I have the floor. Mr. President, sitting as chair, I still have the floor.
When they give you floor,
Wahala now, you see the wahala. No.
Point order. Point of order.
Million pro.
or offering to speak shall sit down, and the Senate, or if it is in the committee, shall be silent, so that the President of the Senate, or sitting as chairman, may be heard without any interruption. It means that every senator should drop his hand. It also means that every senator should be seated and no noise. Section 66 of our rules. Nobody becomes a senator unless he has gone through the rudiments of primaries, of election, being sworn in, and therefore we have processes. The same way this chamber has processes and procedures. But whenever we make noise or move around, we must not forget that we are under strict rules of our standing orders, the rules of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are here today. Others will come tomorrow. Some of us may not come again. Some of us may come again. So it's important for us to obey the rules. So the Senate President is standing. Section 66. The President of the Senate or the Chairman, after having called the attention of the Senate or of the committee to the conduct of a senator who persists in irrelevance or tedious repetition, either of his own arguments or of the arguments used by other senators in debate, may direct him to discontinue his speech. That is 66(1). 66(2) also gives the Senate President the power to order the Sergeant at Arms to walk out such a senator from the day's proceedings. Minority Leader.
Thank you.
Concur to about 80% of the translation read out by Senator Yai. I think they have done a fair job, except on some issues that they could not understand. First, I have never said somebody was blinded. Secondly, I have never said the budget was padded. Mr. Chairman, the beginning of this brouhaha started with this text, and by your leave, I will read. For the first time in Nigerian history today, we're operating two different budgets. One budget approved by the National Assembly, signed by President Bola Tinubu, and one signed and one implemented by the presidency. The one approved by us is 25 trillion, while the one operating by the government is 28 trillion. Apparently, we discovered 3 trillion was inserted into the budget without location. This is the highest budget padding happening in Nigeria. History under Senator Akpabio, taking place under the watchful eyes of Senator Akpabio. We resolve as people representing to see Bola Tinubu on this issue with facts and figures, to ask him if he's aware with this embarrassment or not. Then from there, we will take action. Let Nigerians be patient with us. This is a national issue. It affects Nigeria, irrespective of party, tribe, or religion. And Senator Abdul Lingi, Chairman, Northern Senators Forum, is purported to be the author of this document, of this. Let me, for the avoidance of doubt, I have never issued out a statement of this nature to anybody, anywhere, and anytime. And I want members of this Senate to record it this is a fake contribution that was forwarded. I do not know the author of this. Having listened to the House of Virgin read out by Senator Yayi, have you discovered any of this proposition? Yes. No. Yes. No. You have discovered one issue that pertains to the budget, and that is the issue of 28 trillion versus 25 trillion. I have said that. And I said, if you are listening to him clearly, that we had passed a budget of 28 trillion, and we have discovered location. That's what I say. Please. Can you listen to me? And I said, in between the 28 point something trillion and the 25 trillion, we have discovered that there is no nexus. There is no nexus. Nexus means there is no amount of money to a location. There is no amount of money to a location. And I said, work is in progress. Mr. Chairman, you recalled last Tuesday, myself and Kawu saw you up there, and that we wanted to have an audience with you. And you gave us the grace to see you. We wanted Wednesday, you said no Thursday. And we met. The National Assembly, the Northern Senators Forum met on a Tuesday with a copy of our findings, which is here before us. And the only person who has the copy is myself. When we met as a forum, nobody, no one has seen what is in these copies. What we did, we read out what was discovered and which we felt was disturbing. Subsequently, therefore, we made a visit to your place. Even as we visited your place, we gave you a summary of what you think happened. And we told you we are almost 80% completion. I tried to run down some of the figures to you, and you listen attentively. At the end of the proceedings, you also said, part of the problem we have is the way the budget was brought, and there was no time for the full rigors of budgetary provision. We said we can understand that. However, I told you, Mr. President, that these two copies with me, we have about 21 additional copies that will make it to you. And I told Bino Sero and Kawu that on a Monday, the leadership of the forum will take the complete copies of our findings to you. On a Friday, Mr. President, my attention was called to this particular forward submission. And we chatted. Myself, Senator Dab, Senator Karimi, Senator Medoki. and they showed their anger about this particular statement. And I said, listen to the Hausa version. In the Hausa version, did you hear me mention Akpabio's name? Did you hear me mention pardon? Even the one that was read out, there was no. So I went to Sokoto and quickly came back to Abuja. As I was arriving in Abuja, here you have a presidential spokesman response. Not on the interview I granted, but on this particular version that I said the president is implementing budget. That I said the president does not like the nurse. That I said the president does not care about the nurse. And therefore, because of the filthy nature that the national media took it, I rushed this assembly and countered with documentary evidence what was said here and what I said. Mr. President, if you had listened, all your agents have listened to the Arise interview and the Correspondence Chapel interview, I said categorically, the president's powers stopped as a proposer, as he proposed the budget. And I said, there is no way the National Assembly will add anything on the budget and it becomes funding. The tapes are there. I said the National Assemblies have powers, and you cannot call that powers padding. And I said I'm very grateful to the presidential spokesman who, encountering me, said the National Assembly added 1.27 trillion. And I was very clear. I was not aware of the addition. I was not even aware, as I'm seated here, of the full budget of the National Assembly. Mr. President, please, can you allow me to, Mr. President, perusing through the budget, first, we discover sabulgous anomalies of repetition. We discovered some senatorial districts in this particular document. Some senatorial districts have up to 120 billion. And my senatorial district has just 2 billion. Mr. President, yes. Mr. President, in this budget, that Yari presented to you, I have facts, constituency by constituency. Some 120 billion, some 50 billion, some 30 billion. Mr. President, some have less than 1 billion. Mr. President, as I speak to you, Mr. President, as I speak to you, I do not know your take-home pay. You know my own. I do not know the take-home pays of any of the principal officers. Mr. President, as I speak, I know within the budgetary provisions, you made available funds for purchase of cars. Mr. President, I don't know how much was spent on your cars and the other principal officers. I know how much was spent on individuals, senators' cars. And as I speak to you here, standing, People are calling me names. I do not receive a single cap. All within the budget provisions, Mr. Chairman. All within the budget provisions. I have as a matter of fact, I have 5 aides, just like every member of the House of Representatives has 5. Mr. President, I do not know the number of your aides. I do not know the number of the aides of the Deputy Senate President. You allow me to speculate, and therefore everything that is in the budget is my concern. Finally, Mr. President, finally, Mr. President, finally, Mr. President, finally, in the course of it's perfect. Hold me for
Distinguished Senator Ningi,
when the chairman of appropriations spoke, it was as clear as crystals that there was a misunderstanding of the figures. When he came up with the GOEs and all the agencies on first line charge, there is no difference between the figure he reeled out and the figure purported to be padded. I thought with that matter would have been rested by Senator Ningi, saying that this 3-point-something trillion was not part of the budgetary provisions printed out for us. That would have settled this matter. We are going forth and back on these issues and coming up with issues of the budget and individual issues concerning what came to our various constituencies. If we want to go into those issues, all of us are culpable. Some senators here, so-called senior senators, got 500 million each. I am a ranking senator, I didn't get. Did I go to the press?
I didn't get.
Most of you got. And yes, if we want to go into those issues, excuse me, if we want to go into those issues, yes. So I think that Senator Ningi,
Thirtieth of November, and we had only 1 month. If I will go by parliamentary standards, we have the right to decide when to pass our budget. But if we have decided to pass a budget, on what parameters did we pass our budget? And if those parameters were given, did this respectful chamber sat down, deliberate on those parameters, agree on those parameters, pass those parameters and approve them? Because there's no way you can make a budget without them. So if anybody will come and say this budget is a default, that means we are all at default from the first time when we were passing the MTEF. And when the executive brought their budget as a proposal, the total amount, compared to the total amount they returned after the first MTEF, we still deliberated here and we reviewed that MTEF, we approved it and we passed it. So I'm hearing for the first time, waiting for Senator Ningi to affirm himself, to saying he said we passed 25 trillion naira budget. Since he has said he did not say it and he recanted it, I will reserve the words I have for that. But I will go further to saying that I've been maligned as a senator. The respect I used to have when I go home, I saw it different the last time I went. And I was told that I've been given an allocation of 55 billion in my budget, and that video is even in the TikTok today. So why will I not stand here and say my mind? I'm not a party to any discovery that I have not seen. To me, it's not a discovery. And I don't see any reason why I will disturb myself to posting any comments. I will want my distinguished and respectful colleagues, Mr. President, I'm not one person that do anything on eye service. I don't. If I have anything I will say it before anyone and clear my mind. Distinguished Senator Ningi, Samai Lakau, you are a northern senators. And I'm saying it in the chamber of the Senate. I'm not a second-class northerner. I will be sitting here. Some of the things that are happening within the Northern Senators Forum doesn't get to people like me. This is the person that will give me the information. So what makes me feel somehow the day we came for the meeting in the Senate President's office, in fact, I didn't want to attend that meeting. It was one of your aides that insisted I must be there. If I'm not there, it will mean something. I said, let it mean. I was chairing a subcommittee meeting in the ad hoc of disbursement then, but I was the last person to be there. And why did I go there? Why did I go there? Why did I go there? If there's anything, we agreed at that meeting, nobody will go to the press. I was asked to comment. I reluctantly comment. Let me use the word of Senator Bribe. In the 9th Assembly, he will always say, I'm reluctantly agreeing to it. I reluctantly agreed to make a comment. And when I made a comment, I said, if anybody said he has seen anything, provide the evidence. And since the evidence will be given to Senate President knows where to take those evidences. And we will know the truth or otherwise of those evidences. But going to the press, we should not go to the press. In the morning, when I saw a message from Samai Elakau, I felt we should have acted as senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I felt so sad when I saw it. And that message is going round. Look at the content, look at the English. Is it senators? Is that our quality? Is that our standard? Mr. President, we will deal with the issue of the Senate of the budget, but we have to also deal with our ethical standard in the Senate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, for the very first time, I stand up to speak, not as the leader of the 10th Senate, but as Senator Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele, CON, representing the people of Ekiti Central Senatorial District. 4 quick issues to raise. Number one, I stand with due respect to say that what my big brother, distinguished Senator Abdul Ningi, who I respect so well, planned to do or set out to do was tantamount to a civilian coup, which has failed. And in doing this, he wanted to use the platform of Northern Senators Forum. God bless all those who have dissociated themselves as members of Northern Senators Forum. Number 2, I pay glowing tribute to His Excellency Senator Tambuwal, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, and to His Excellency Senator Ahmad Lawal. Why am I doing this? They had very peaceful tenure, and I was one of those instrumental. I'm also speaking as a Southerner for the first time. The attempt to take the election of the leadership of this Senate beyond June 13, 2023 must stop. 60-something senators voted for Godswill Akpabio. 40-something senators voted against Godwin Akpabio. The will of the majority. Every day, there have been a few, just a few. And that's one of the reasons I will pay tribute to Senator Tambuwal. He didn't pretend about where he stood. But after that, some of them got up on the floor of this Senate and said, election is over. Let's work together as senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A few have refused to do this. And that's why it's always about Akpabio, never about the Senate, never about the House of Reps, never about the Office of DG Budget. All of us pass this budget. Never about Mr. President who signed this budget. It's always about Akpabio. We have a momentum. This is a defining moment for all of us to say, if we are going to have a stable Senate, let us have one. It is not about North and South. It's about our rules. It's about the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's about our people who are hungry and deprived. Mr. President, sitting as chair, make no mistake about it. A few people who feel they will not give you more than 1 year to spend in this chair want to do everything possible before the 13th of June to remove you. And I am telling you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, distinguished colleagues, and that's why I say I'm speaking as Senator Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele, not as the Senate leader. As the Senate leader, I've always done everything possible to stabilize the Senate. I'm speaking, I'm exercising my own privilege as a senator. Now I am telling you, sir, I am telling you, sir. And I want Nigerians to know, I say it for history. The last time the people of South that you represent had a chance to be Senate President was over 40 years ago. The last time the entire people of the South had a chance to be Senate President was during Obasanjo regime, when he went to the Southeast. 5 people were elected because they were impeached in quick succession. But as soon as he left the South, we had peace and stability again because we will always cooperate. David Mark spent 8 years. Senator Ahmad Lawal spent 4 years. Peaceful 4 years. Saraki, even with all he did, spent 4 years. He was not impeached. It is about Akpabio. It is about the South. You can now understand why Senator Ningi, we want to use the name of Northern Senators Forum, even when most of them did not agree to this. Mr. President, I plead with you. This is an opportunity for us to follow our rules. If tomorrow the wisdom of the elders of this Senate prevail and they feel we should do otherwise, let's lock ourselves up in a closed-door session and take another decision and go back to the world and reconsider ourselves on whatever decision we take today. I beg all of you, we must do the right thing today. We did not start this fight. Senator Ningi took this to the public domain, standing up to apologize here, even after he repeated that some people got 100 billion naira from this budget, some people got 60 billion. Haba, what apology are you expecting? Let us do the right thing, and I am saying it as part of the leadership of this Senate. I am not bothered. I was going through online, just as this is going on, it's trending now, that every senator got 500 million. My appeal to Nigerians is not about what was said there today, because I'm not going to deny that. But we have 12 months to implement 2024 budget. Let every Nigerian wait to see whether there is any of these senators who will not bring enough boreholes, enough solar street lights, enough road construction, and other projects, training and empowerment that will be up to 500 million naira. That is it. I am not protesting. If I got anything here, it is not money put in my pocket. They are constituency projects given to my constituency. And I'm not apologetic about it. Mr. President, please let us go into the prayers and do the right thing.
Why we said we will go back and look at what is happening under the umbrella of the Northern Senators Forum, which is under my leadership. But you can't do anything here. You can't do everything here because it involves members of the ruling and opposition party. It is very difficult to challenge the ruling party under that umbrella once you want the unity of the North. Transferring of some department of federal agency to Lagos. I will speak not as a member of opposition, but as a Northerner. And as a Northerner, I know that this is going to happen. We heard about it, and we saw several examples in the past, and that tells us that this is possible. But as I speak, our people, especially the leaders, are yet to take any action to find the solution. That is why I am not even surprised. These things that are happening are 2 categories. Some affect the North only, some affect the entire country. What we are doing now, as a leader of the Forum of Northerners, we are trying to address the problem to reduce the strength or reduce its strength without allowing politics to come in. About the review of the budgets. This is true. For the past 3 months, we have engaged consultants to review the budget for us. We have some experts that are working on it line by line. We have seen huge damage that was done not only to the North, but the entire country in that budget. We are supposed to sit with the Senate President to inform him about what we have observed. We want to show him what we have seen in the budget that is not acceptable. We will not accept them, and we don't want the country to continue spending money on those things. Apart from what the National Assembly did on the floor, there was another budget that was done underground which we didn't know. The new things we have discovered in the budget were not known to us. We haven't seen them in the budget, and that was debated and considered on the floor of the National Assembly. Discoveries. For example, it was said that there was a budget of 28 trillion, but what we passed was 25 trillion naira.
Please read that again, because this is the Senate. This is the Senate. We are only an arm.
It was said that there was a budget of 28 trillion, but what was passed was 25 trillion. So there is a 3 trillion on top. Where are they? Where is it going? So we need to know this. There are a lot of things we are coming up with. A report, and we will show the president himself and ask him if he's aware or not. This is what we intended to do. We are to meet the president. We will talk to him about the Mambila Power Project, Ajakuta, and the River Niger dredging. We will talk to him about the Niger Republic. Recently, they said they will construct a dam, and this is not good for us. The action taken by ECOWAS has affected the relationship between Nigeria and Niger. There was an agreement, Nigeria and Niger. There was an agreement that they will not construct a dam to that, so that the Kanji Dam will be intact, and we will have them. We will give them electricity in returns. Over $1 billion was spent on Mambila. BBC has reported. Where is that money? Who collected the money? We need to know and see what can be done. This Mambila is like the future of the North. Every part of the North, every part of the country has its old as a symbol that will save them in the future. One of our weaknesses in the North is that we don't love ourselves and our region so much that we don't care about the future. We are all just living anyhow. We just love the region in our mouth, not at heart, and I'm seriously worried about that. Security challenge in the North. These security challenges are happening in the North. There is nowhere in the South where someone will be abducted and spend even 7 days in custody of the abductors. Look at Katsina, Zamfara, and Benue. I am even afraid that one day we will wake up and see the state like Zamfara are being taken away from the country. It is possible going by what is happening. And this was transcribed by Bashiru Aliu Mere, confirmed the above translated version of the Hausa interview used by Hausa service of the BBC on the program Gani Mani Aya, and it's correct, and it is notarized document. Gani Maya, sorry. Gani Mani Aya. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I haven't read the transcribed version. I come under Order 9 and 10 that my privilege has been breached. And I focus on that particular area that I believe affects me and not on the entire interview that was granted. And it becomes necessary, aftermath of the various interviews and headlines of various social media, newspapers that have come forth as a result of this singular interview. And it is on that premise that I've decided to approach these chambers to seek for protection and also to put up a motion before the Nigerian Senate to know the nitty-gritty of what has been said as contained in this particular interview.
Just to guide, that we saw the screaming headlines that the Senate had padded the 2028 budget with 3 trillion. Is it from? Because
let me present the motion, then I will explain. Urgent need to address the false allegation against the Senate and the presidency on the 2024 Appropriation Act by Senator Abdul Ningi, representing Bauchi Central. The motion is sponsored by me, Adeola Olamilekon. The Senate notes that following the presentation of the 2024 Appropriation Bill of 27.503 by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to the joint sitting of the Senate and the House of Representatives on Wednesday, the 29th of November, 2023, and following the debate of the general principle of the bill, at the second reading from Thursday, the 30th November to Friday, 1st December 2023, the bill was committed to the Committee on Appropriation for further legislative action, and in which Senator Abdul Ningi is a member of the committee. Also note that to attain the January-December budget cycle, the subcommittee submitted the harmonized report to the Committee of Appropriation, and the report of the Committee on Appropriation submitted to the Senate and was unanimously passed on Saturday, the 30th of December 2023, and a budget of 28.77 trillion was assented to by the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces on 1st of January 2024, as shown below. Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, before I go further, the document we have here, the two documents we have here was shared to the 109 Senator of the Senate. Contained in this document, under the volume 1, paragraph 2, 3, and 4, is the breakdown of the 28.77 trillion budget that was passed. And from paragraph 7, 8, are the breakdown of the budget, which we call the budget details of the entire MDAs. And when you add this figure together, as contained in this document for the entire MDAs, it comes to 25.4 trillion naira. Sir, there are agencies of the government whose budgets and their details are not contained in these two documents because they are statutory agencies and their money are on first line charge. Agencies such as 1, the judiciary. The judiciary budget details is not contained in this document. 2, the National Assembly. The National Assembly budget details is not contained in this document. 3, INEC. The INEC budget details is not contained in this document. 4, UBEC, the Universal Basic Education. The Universal Basic Education budget details is not contained in this document. 6, TED Fund. The TED Fund recurrent and capital is not details is not contained in this budget. 7, the Northeast Development Commission. The breakdown of the Northeast Development Commission details is not contained in this budget. 8, the NDDC. The NDDC budget details is not contained in this document. 9, the GOEs, which is the government-owned enterprise, whose expenditure stood at 1,060 billion naira. Their details is not contained in this document. When you add all of that together, it gives you 3.221 trillion naira. And when you add it to the 25.4, it gives you 28.77 trillion naira. And it's no new thing. I have here a copy of the last 3 budget that was passed, 2021, 2022, 2023. All the details of these agencies I've mentioned are not contained in this document. So for my brother who have put up a consultant to look into this budget and have reported that 25 trillion was approved by the Senate, it's not been fair to the Senate. And I want to say that despite the fact an overture made to the Senate President and complained bitterly about this, and the Senate President requested that let me be furnished with the details and we look into it and necessary action will be taken. We refused, or instead of doing that, we went to the press and addressed the press. And as at yesterday, my brother Senator Abdul Ningi still insists that he stood by his 3.7 trillion that has been missing within the 2024 appropriation bill. Sir, attached herewith in this document are item and the list of those documents that are contained in the budget and those that are not contained in the budget that made up the 28.77 trillion. Aware that the additional increase of 1.2 trillion to that was presented by the president came during the appropriation process through the additional funding request and some item of expenditure to the committee. Some items of expenditure to the committee that were not included in the bill as submitted by the president were meant to address additional funding for judiciary, agriculture, food security, works, science and technology, education, water resources, National Assembly, health, national homegrown school feeding program, and please see attached below as I presented. Also aware that the additional source of funding for the increase came from the benchmark of naira to $1 from 750 to 800 naira and the increase in government-owned enterprises revenue and other sources. Alarm that on Saturday, the 9th March 2023, Senator Abdul Ningi, the PDP Bauchi Central, claiming to speak on behalf of the Northern Senator Forum, granted an interview to BBC News Hausa service, where he made false and grave allegations against the executive, the president of the Senate, and the Senate, whereby he alleged that 2024 Appropriation Act passed by the National Assembly and being implemented by the executive is 25 trillion instead of 28.77 trillion, indicating a padding of 3 trillion naira. On the basis of this falsehood, Senator Ningi claimed that there is a budget done on the ground, meaning that the federal government is operating two national budgets. Further alarm that Senator Sulaiman Kawu, NNPP Kano South, a member of the Northern Senator Forum, in particular the spokesperson forum, posted the audio copy of the interview, see attached notarized English language translation on Senator's exclusive social media platform, purporting to support its content and further spread the false allegation, which immediately found its way into numerous online media outlets and mainstream print and electronic media with such headline like Northern Senator alleged 3 trillion padding, exclusive Northern Senator move against Akpabio over alleged 4 trillion budget padding, and other similar derogatory headlines. Disturbed that these false allegations, including that of 2024 appropriation budget being against the North, has since generated debate in the media and general public with aspersion on all senators of the Senate and members of the National Assembly. Accordingly resolved, 1. Pursuant to Order 1B of the Senate Standing Rule 2023 as amended, allow the immediate deliberation of this matter and take appropriate action deemed fit in the overriding public interest as a matter of urgent importance to prevent further breakdown of law and order. 2. Take further necessary steps to correct the wrong impression in the public domain of 2024 appropriation budget created by the BBC interview and other national social media houses and social media platform by Senator Abdul Ningi and amplified by Senator Sulaiman Abdulrahman Kawu through his Facebook account and other social media platform. 3. Take any further decision as the Senate deemed fit and proper safeguard the integrity of the 2024 budget, which is the pivotal to the revamping of the economy. Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, I so submit. I so move.
Yes. Distinguished Senator Joel.
I am not the originator and I am not the maker of this. I am not the maker. I am not the maker.
Distinguished Senator Kawo, remain one Senate. You have not denied the post that you made. Distinguished Senator Olamilekon, do you have the post that you made? Yes. Can you read it out? Yes. No, it's important because he's saying he stands by his post. Please, can you number? You are not hearing me. You are not hearing me. I said, wait, Senator Kawo, I want you to, okay, since you don't have it, Senator Olamilekon, you are the mover of the motion. Okay, Senator Joel, Onawapu, can you read what Senator Kawo posted? No, I want him to read it again because you are not interested. Okay, so use your mic and read out what you posted.
Speaker, I heard, Mr. President, very sorry, I heard what our colleague, Senator Solomon Adiola present in his motion. Quite all right, Mr. President, I was in that meeting in your house, and we all agree that we will not in any way granted an interview or engage anybody on this issue. You promised to look into it. To the extent you ask Chief Whip of the Senate, who happened to be Deputy Chairman of Appropriation, whether he has knowledge on what is going on in the budget, and he responded to you that negatively, that no. Therefore, I quite agree and affirm that position. And from that time up to today, there was no time I granted an interview with anybody. All what happened, sir, is that after we left your house, I had in the morning the interview of Senator Abdul Ningi. I read it, I listened to it attentively. I realized that he granted the interview before our meeting. Even in that case, it is not what we agree in our last meeting, that we are not going to press. In the afternoon, there was a first at so many platforms, which I posted it to our Northern Senators Forum. Northern Senators Forum. There was no place and nobody hacked my account, and I stand to be corrected. Nobody hacked my account, and I am not in agreement with what my brother Solomon presented to this Senate. It is total lie. I am not party of it. If for any reason what I forced to the Senate, our Northern Senators Forum, as a member of that forum, and it is exclusively for our own consumption. My intention is to call the attention of our brothers that see what is going on and see what people are saying. I am very busy during the weekend because of Ramadan, but there was no time I granted an interview. On my way to Kano, Senator Tambuwal called me, directed me, not even as my colleague, but as my big brother, that you must make sure, don't even in any way granted an interview with anybody on this issue. Senator Barrow too, before I enter Kano, he do the same to me. And throughout, from Friday up to yesterday, I am busy in my constituency, attending my routine tafsir. Secondly, sir, With due to respect to our colleagues, we are not in any way intend to undermine either the president, senate president, or the senate. We are matured enough. We knew this business. We all agree that we are leaders. And we understand, or we understood, our constitutional responsibility. One of it is oversight. Constitutionally, we must make sure that there is scrutiny on whatever is going in related to federal government expenditure. Mr. President, with due respect to our colleague, how many of us has time to go through this budget? How many of us? I have some items here in the budget, sir. No, I just want to draw our attention. 36 items ranging to 57 billion naira without location. Let me tell you the last one. You will understand what we are complaining, and you will understand our appealing. And Mr. President, sir, you agree with us that most of what happened during the budget, you are, for example, number 36, ERGP 2021-29.
Senator Kawu, please, I've withdrawn your protest. On the Northern Senators Forum, is that for the first time in Nigeria's history, we have the highest budget padding, and that the Senate passed 25 trillion, while the federal government is operating 28 trillion. You see, in a tense atmosphere like Nigeria, coming from distinguished senators, reposted by distinguished senators, posted by distinguished senators, originated or otherwise, that post even mentions Senator Ningi as chairman of Nigerian Northern Senators Forum. And you, knowing that that post was injurious to the reputation of the National Assembly. You have been a member of the National Assembly in the House of Reps. You've also been a liaison officer. By the grace of God today, you are a senator. Do you think that reposting falsehood to tarnish the image of the National Assembly is the right thing for a distinguished senator to do?
It is exclusively for Northern Senators Forum to draw their attention, on what is going on. I can't do it.
Now,
distinguished colleagues, I am Mohamed Alindume, representing Borno South. I have listened. Most of us have spoken. I don't need to remind us that we are senators. I don't need to also remind us that we are here as brothers and member of the highest body, that's the Senate. We are here having in mind also that we can disagree, but to agree. In fact, it is common in legislation to even go to the extreme, throwing chairs because tempers rise. But when it comes to the totality of the image of the Senate, we should be careful. It is not about Ningi now only. If we are talking about Ningi in this room, but it is about all of us outside. This thing has happened. It has happened. And Ningi was wrong. It was wrong. In the first instance, if you all remember, this thing reared its head before. When, after presentation of the budget, there were allegations from the North that it was skewed in favor of the South. And the figure was even posted on our platform, the Northern Senators Forum, by Wadada, and I spoke to him this morning. The total capital in there was 8.9 or thereabout, but the total of the said skewedness total to 15 trillion. And I told them, from the word go, this thing is wrong. So it died down. When we engaged the senators, the consultant, it was agreed by the northern senators, quite okay. And after that, Kau and Ningi approached me and told me that there are certain things in the budget that were not right. I said, bring it. They said, no, they are going to talk to Senate President, and I should be there. I said, no. If you are sure that the North has been so changed, put the figures down and let's go public. But that was not there. Wait. When you are speaking, I did not interfere. It's so simple now. My chairman wanted to go out yesterday. My chairman wanted to go out yesterday. He called me. We are doing a press conference. I said, on what? He said, on this budget. I said, did you get the details that they are talking about? You said, no. I begged you not to talk. That we are coming here today, get ready with your papers and put it before our colleagues. He did a wonderful job by even tracing where the so-called 3 trillion has gone. What I'm expecting from us, please, is to move forward. And how do we move forward? I told Ningi in here that he made a mistake, that he should stand up and apologize to us first, then apologize that, look, this even figure that I'm looking for 3 trillion is here. I'm sorry for the embarrassment I've caused. That is what I'm suggesting. Please, distinguished colleagues, some of us, or majority of us, are here new, as we said. Okay. Yeah, it's not new because you are 10 months old or more. All I'm saying, look, if I don't forget that I'm the chief whip, I'll carry whip now. Okay. Why are you not smiling now? I know this is a serious matter, but we have gotten to it. Had it been what Ningi said, it's not even traceable. But it's clear here that the 3 trillion, if you add it up, is there, and you put it by 25, it gives us the figure. So let us go and tell everybody that, look, 3 trillion is not missing. And Ningi should apologize. Ningi has agreed to apply. I approached you, and I said, Ningi will apologize. You said, if he apologizes, he is ready to apologize.
Distinguished colleagues, Senator Kawu has made mention of the fact that the post was not meant for the public, it was meant for northern senators, for them to know exclusively what was happening in the country, the operation of 2 budgets. It still brings us back to the fact that, are we right or are we wrong? Distinguished Senate President, you are a member of Northern Senators Forum. Do you agree with this post that was meant for you and for you, Bilun?
Well, what happened is quite unfortunate. I don't agree with it, but what happened is quite unfortunate because, like you said, Abdul Ningi is one of the most respected senators here. And we had the cause, quite okay, as said by speakers, who spoke before me, that he approached us about his observations within the budget. And a meeting was held. For the purpose of emphasis, it was held in your guest house, together with the likes of Senator Lalon, Senator Sade Musa, and the rest. And we all agreed that, look, yes, we are all humans. assuming, but not agreeing that there were mistakes. If you have anything, bring that forward. Bring that forward. When you bring them forward, we will now sit down in a tripartite fashion, because the budget process is an inclusive process, including the Senate, the House of Reps, and the executive. We then call the House side, call the executive side. Let's sit down. These are the observations we've seen. And how do we correct them? If at all there are genuine observations. And I told him, look, we've had this kind of situation before. I told Sani Musa where he was in the 8th Senate. We had similar situation, 9th Senate. Someone brought up certain things that felt, okay, we'll look at that. And then later, we found out there was nothing. And then we said, look, we even have a clause in the Appropriation Act, the corrigendum clause, that can be used to correct human errors, if any. That, okay, let's keep this something until we are able to have these observations made. And because before then he raised 3 issues. That number one, they had wanted to go and go to the press. They wanted to go and see Mr. President. I said, thank you that you didn't do that, because these are things within the realm of observations. Probably if experts see those things, we'll be able to sort out whatever misunderstanding, if any, within what you're able to put forward. So it's quite unfortunate that this came out, in the press. But like you said, he didn't say anything. What he did was to make that post, because I spoke to him, like he said. I called him. I said, I saw what is happening now, but don't make any comment. Do not make any. That's after the interview. So don't make. He didn't make any comment, but he posted. After I saw the posting, I called him. I said, please don't. Our agreement is that we shouldn't see anything. Let's not put the cart before the horse. So, and he agreed. He didn't make any statement thereafter. Only the posting that he made. Yes, I agree that the posting was not quite proper. It's not good for a posting to be made. Consider the fact that we have all agreed. But he didn't make any statement outside. And even yesterday, I called him. I said, look, why is this thing going on? He said, yes. But did you hear me say it outside? That all I did is just what he repeated here, that he only posted in a platform for us to know what is happening, but he didn't make any statement outside. That's it. That Ningi granted an interview, that he wanted to tell us, look at what we discussed, but look at what Ningi has done. So that's why he sent it, because he told me that the meeting was not only for the leadership. Other senators were around, so he couldn't call everyone to say this is what Ningi has done. So that's why he decided to post it on that platform for us to see, because so many of us were there. So that's what, even yesterday I spent about an hour talking to him. He said he will not make any statement. He has agreed, he's a gentleman, he's a senator, he will not do that. So this is the reason that he gave. I shall submit.
You attended a meeting in the guest house that I attended. Senator Ningi said that he has made some discoveries through consultants, different from what he partook as a member of the Appropriation Committee, as a senator, and as a member of the Senate during plenary that passed the budget. Now, he promised to make available those observations to the Senate President and to yourself. Has he made those observations available to you?
He has not. And to be fair to Kau, he called me and said, look, this is what we agreed to, but look at what Ningi did. That's what he told me.
Okay. I think the Senator Jimo Ibrahim. The Senator Jimo Ibrahim. The Senator Jimo Ibrahim.
Please, I have the floor, please. Mr. Senate President of the Federal, I represent Ondo South Senatorial District. Mr. Senate President, everything can go wrong, but one thing must not go wrong. Only one thing: the law. And the prophecy of what anybody will do is in the law. And the law in issue is the Appropriation Act of the National Assembly, which has casted doubt in the integrity of Nigeria. The painful thing of all this story and the narratives is the fact that tomorrow the federal government want to go out there to borrow money to develop Nigeria economy. Just Google it and you will see you have two budgets. The lender will ask a simple question: where are you putting this fund? The first budget or the second budget? This has happened to me before. So, Mr. Senate President, we're sitting here today to make regulations to ensure that the integrity of the federal government is not in doubt. I don't want to talk about the integrity of the Senate, in which you are privileged to preside. As Senate President of Nigeria, by March 23rd, remember, you'll be going to address the General Assembly of United Nations in Geneva. The question will be put onto you, and you can put me on notice, that Mr. Nigeria Senate President, you passed two laws in respect of your budget. Which of the laws are we here to look at? Now, having said that, my own contribution to this debate is that we should go straight into the prayers. The motion is on the floor. We need to look at the prayers. And if we need to add additional prayer, so be it. And then we'll be able to close this matter. Because if we don't go into the prayers and discuss it, the motion makes no meaning. A motion is before, by law, by instrument of law, by our practice and procedure here. That motion must be concluded by looking to the prayers. What are we, I know I appreciate the fact that you want fair hearing. I agree with that. There should be fair hearing. Distinguished Senator Nigi has also spoken extensively. But the key point is that Senator Yayi has brought a motion before us. And there are prayers there. Let's go into that prayer and let us see which of the prayers we are passing in the plenaries. And this is very important. This is fundamental, because as we sit here, our children are looking at the procedure and the processes that we are making two laws at the same time on the same issue. And that is not acceptable. So to me, Mr. Senate President, I think the right thing to do right now is to go into the prayers. If you are generously comfortable to listen to more debates, fantastic. But we keep repeating ourselves about the pains of lying, about the pains of economizing lies and truth. So we should go into the prayers. I so advise, Mr. Senate President, and my very distinguished colleagues, let's go into the prayers, and so that we can go home. It's already 2:24. Are we going to sleep here? Let's go into the prayers and do additional prayers and move on.
You end the debate, because please, there's no need for us to talk further. Let us just hear from my brother Adams Oshimole, then a leader will speak.
I have listened attentively. My name is Adams Aliu Oshimole. I represent the great people of Edo North in Edo State. And the only thing that I used to campaign to get to this house is my name, my pedigree, and my integrity. Some may have gotten here because they had resources. I got here because I had made a name. I came here hoping to build on that name, not to diminish it, not to distort it, and not to do anything that would be unexpected of somebody of my background. Number two, sir, I am a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I am not a senator of the North, nor am I a senator of the South. I am a Nigeria senator. These rules we agreed on in the first 2-3 sittings, that we will operate irrespective of accident of birthplace, and even the factor of religion or any of those primordial sentiments. Because that is the only way as senior, as a privileged Nigerians who sit on this Senate, I don't know anyone here who started this work on the floor of this Senate. We all have our various backgrounds, which our people must have seen and found us worthy of being elected. I want to plead that we must recognize we have the duty to uphold the finest standard of a legislature and defend the integrity of each and every one of us. As I listen to your prayers every day, Mr. Senate President, we talk about showing love to one another, doing those things that will promote the peace, happiness, and unity of our great country. And yet, I am here wondering whether we have exactly come here to do everything that will promote hatred, everything that will promote division, everything that will remind me of my accident or bad play for which I had no vote, I had no contribution. That was the exclusive decision of the God Almighty. It should neither be used to favor me, nor should it be used to disfavor me. So I ask her that after listening to everything, my plea is this. We've already been stripped naked in the market. And closing the door or opening the windows, we cannot now wrap it as if it has not been seen. The minimum requirement is for my brother, who I respect very much on account of being vocal. I like vocal people. He has energy. I don't have enough energy. But I have seen him make very valuable contributions in the past on the floor of the Senate. And I think he can still remedy that, having agreed that some things went wrong. Because the question you have put, Mr. President, is how much, what was the figure in the bill, in the appropriation bill that was approved? And somebody answered 28 trillion. Therefore, any suggestion that it was 25 is simply a lie. The problem of trying to defend one lie is that you have to speak to more lies in order to protect and defend one lie. I think will be Senator Ningi, who I respect a lot, has a duty even to his own children, that he will not be the man who will be reported in the front pages of newspapers and electronic media all over the world and say something that he found out is not true. There is nothing wrong in making a mistake, but it becomes a problem when you are not able to find the courage to own up to your mistake. Particularly when in terms of balance of interest, you rather clean up what is dirty than to pretend that it is clean. So I want to plead to each and every one of us that let's allow Ningi, having now read everything, and even my comrade, Senator Kau, who posted something, he said it was for northern governors, even northern senators. Even he knows that northern senators deserve to be told the truth. Northern senators did not form association for the spreading of falsehood. It is meant to promote the unity of the North and justice and fairness, which can only be founded on the basis of facts and truth. So if all of these errors have taken place and all of us have become suspect in the Nigerian bar of public opinion, the way to go, in my view, is for both of them to recount what they have said and to say that they didn't say so, or if they said so, that they made the mistake of the head, not of the heart, and ask that they be forgiven. Because it is already in the market. You can't pretend it never happened. I associated myself completely with the very, very valuable and articulate presentation of Senator Sani, I believe, of Niger State, and several other very valuable contributions. But let us remember, each time we try to destroy any one of us, we are destroying all of us. Because if one lacks integrity, and we are found to associate with anyone who lacks integrity, they say it is birds of the same feathers that flock together. May that not be our portion. Mr. Senate President, this matter needs to be treated in a manner that will restore the confidence of the Nigerian people in the institution of the National Assembly. Thank you, Mr. President.
To the nation, my colleagues, what is important here is our integrity as a whole. What has been established here is the fact that the so-called 3 trillion pardon is a lie. 2, the appropriation made this year, where those items on statutory transfers were not included, is not different from what has been happening for years. That is the standard that will make our budget. So all the information that is being passed around was misinformation by Senator Ningi and Senator Kawu. So we have to establish that one before we can move forward. And they have to own up to their mistakes.
President, what we are battling with is the soul of this Senate. And I think it's very, very important. We have had different colleagues pleading that we should, that they have considered to apologize. But even in that apology, Mr. President, I believe after meeting you during the last meeting you had with them, they would have come to you in agreement of what you had reached with them, present their facts before you before going to the press. I think there should be, we will need to look at the prayers, because if we continue to go to the press and try to create ethnic sentiments in this country, it will continue. With this Senate will never be won. So I think we should go to the prayers, Mr. President, so that we don't overlook this issue. Let's go to the prayers, Mr. President.
The leader, then we close.
Yes, I've agreed. A lot of things went wrong. Even that meeting that you made the Northern Senators, I was not there. And our God knows, here in this place, I asked the chairman of the Northern Northern Senators. I said, you had a meeting with the president of the Senate yesterday. I was not invited. And he apologized to me that next time you're going to be invited. And you see, let me correct something here. That most of us, including both Kawu and Ningi, they are ranking parliaments. They came through the House of Reps. Parliamentarian, yes. Kawu said he was not the person that constructed that statement. I agree with him in totality. But I read the statement in the platform of the Northern Senators. And to some extent, knowing fully when you go through the text or the statement, you will know whether it is not constructed by Senator Kawu or not. Because he will have posted it with a caveat to us, the Northern Senators, that be aware or be informed, this is not from me. It's the handwork of mischief makers. One, because I was going through it and I deliberately refused to say anything on this issue because I didn't know what is happening and I was not part of that meeting with you. One, on that issue, because he is a leader. Two, Mr. Chairman, sir, a lot of people have spoken. Even though the chief whip has said that he has spoken on personal ground with Senator Ningi, and he also spoke to Kawu. No. Okay, he has not spoken to Ningi. Ningi is the chief actor of what we are discussing today. Ningi wanted to open some close again on the issue, But we should allow him, give him a time to speak again, instead of going forward and coming backward. He's sitting here in the plenary with us. Mr. Chairman, sir, why I am saying this, because Ningi also, he has not denied the issue that you are in agreement for him to submit whatever he has to you as a leader, so that you should look into it and take an appropriate decision. Because he has not done that, that is why we have found ourselves where we are today. What is the next thing? The next thing is to give him, even if just 2 minutes to speak. And our leader, the minority leader of this Senate, who is Abba Moro. Abba Moro is our leader of all of us that are sitting here. He has spoken on behalf of us. He requests for one thing, that we should give them time to speak. Abba Moro has spoken, and since he sat down, and I can see the mood of even our colleagues, when he spoke on behalf of us, I think, Mr. Chairman, give them the opportunity in line with the request of the minority leader, our leader. Even though somebody said, have asked one of them that they didn't, we voted them. Like me, I'm a ranking senator, I signed for them. So they are our leaders. He has spoken on behalf of us. Please, Mr. Chairman, for us to move forward, we were almost 3 the whole day. Give them the opportunity to speak to us again. Even if it means a motion, on top of motion, because we are wasting our time, please, let them speak. They are sitting on the plenary here. And you can see our brother, Senator Ningi, he has always been quiet for the past 1 hour. Let's hear from him, Mr. Chairman, so that this matter, it is, somebody say it's Ningi today. It can be another person tomorrow, please, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
In support, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, Senator Jimo, you can now come with your additional prayer.
Yeah, after we're trying to distill all our discussions in these hallowed chambers into this additional prayer by way of sanction. Suspend Senator Abu Dinigi and suspend Senator Abu Dinigi for an initial period of 12 months. 12 months, yes, including his entitlement and privilege as Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria of the 10th Senate, and made him to stay away from the National Assembly for the suspended period. 2, the Senate should send a warning letter to Senator Suleiman Abdulrahman Kau, and this should be warned to stop posting, inciting informations that are not right, and then he should tender apology. He should stop posting all those informations with a way of distorting facts. Mr. Senate President, I so move on these 2 additional prayers, because we cannot. I have the floor, please. I have the floor. I have the floor. It's these 2 important prayers are very important, because we have to look at our rules. There are issues of ethics procedures, and as well as what we have been discussing since morning. So for purpose of clarity, Mr. Senate President, my first prayer is that the Senate should suspend Senator Abu Dinigi for an initial period of 12 months. Suspend his entitlement and privileges as Senator of the 10th Assembly or 10th Senate, and make him stay away from the National Assembly during the period of suspension. Secondly, the Senate or this Senate should send a note of warning to Senator Suleiman Abdulrahman Kau and make him to apologize for posting the inciting statement about the Appropriation Act in his Facebook. These are my additional prayer. I so move, Mr. Senate. I so move, Mr. Senate.
Point of order. I require your protection, sir. Order. Mr. President, distinguished